I knew my marriage was over when my ever so charming husband decided that his kids didn't need to respect me, that it was okay for them to shut the door in my face and say things like, oh, I don't have to listen to you. I knew my marriage was over when this also ever so charming POS husband of mine decided to move out of the house, steal all of my personal belongings, my clothes, my shoes, all of the gifts that he bought me, leave me with 4 huskies and 22 chickens, okay? So that's how I knew my marriage was over. But I'm curious, like, when did you guys know your marriage was over? Like,
now, that makes me think about the book I wrote, Before You Marry That Single Mother, where the stepfather's going off because after raising this daughter for all these years, she wants her real father to walk her down the aisle, and he's furious. He feels like she's done him wrong, and this situation sounds much worse, but I didn't agree with the stepfather on that, even though I understood where he was coming from, because these children, they have their own autonomy, their own thought system, their own beliefs, and if she wants her father to walk her down the aisle, that's what she wants. I know he feels like he should have some type of say-so, know he's affected by it, but you're doing too much. So I wrote a whole book, Before You Marry That Single Mother, just so men can kind of have an idea of what they're going up against when they take on this responsibility. I think I need to write a book called Before You Marry That Single Father, okay? Because obviously stepmothers are going through it too. She comes into this man's life and she says the children, his sons, are slamming the door in her face. So he hasn't taught them to respect women or be respectful at all. He's allowing them to slam the door in her face. Could you guys imagine that? This children's real mother isn't in the home. She is, for some reason, they live with him, apparently, okay? And they're disrespecting her. So she has no authority in the home. In fact, they're telling her, I don't have to listen to you. They don't, as she should not be the #1 disciplinarian. But this is disrespectful behavior, okay? Based on the father and him raising those children, they should listen to her, as her guidance and everything is coming with their best interests at heart. She is not the main utilitarian, but this is something that he must let his children know, okay? No, she's not your mother, but you do have to listen to her, okay? But as far as going farther than that and taking discipline into her own hands, no. And ladies, when you find yourself in a position like this, leave that relationship alone, okay? This man will ultimately lead and guide your children. He's proven to not even be able to do that with his own, as they are disrespecting you. He's not even asking them to respect you as the woman that he chose to be in his life. He can't even get that from him. So that's a situation that I would say is a lose-lose. What do you think?
I say I agree with her. I don't think anyone should want to discipline someone else's children.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm like, that's not your child.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to put my hands or, anything on someone else's child. That's their parents' job.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as me being able to tell them I need you to do this, that, and the other, and they're not listening and they're throwing tantrums and they're slamming doors, and you're not trying to, help me out being their father, drawing a boundary, like this is what you should be doing, respect my wife, then I would say I would have to go as well. Because, what is she there for? I'm not going to be there and be a doormat for the boys to be running over. That means I get no respect from them, and at the end of the day, I'm not getting respect from the father. So I would definitely be like, yeah, it's over.
Right.
So I agree with her.
Right. And I would say to the ladies, even if you see blatant things wrong in the home, don't try to confront those things personally. Go to the father, go to your husband, boyfriend, and explain to him what these children are doing. If they can't respect him enough to where they're not slamming doors in your face and talking at you like that, you should 100% leave it. This man can't even control or set boundaries on his own children, okay? On top of that, though, he left and takes all her things he's bought her, and leaves her with, she said, 3 huskies and 12 chickens? Something crazy?
Like 4 huskies and
4 huskies. Okay, so hopefully this isn't the case, but it sounds like he probably was with her when they bought these dogs, and so now they got these new responsibilities. He leaves her with all of them and these chickens, takes what he bought her though. So whatever he gave you, he takes it away, but he leaves you with all this other stuff to take care of. And obviously these children were rude to her, but when you're in these children's life for some time and someone just takes and leaves you, and now you lose access to the children as well, if you've built strong relationships with these children, that can rip you apart right there alone. You already don't have access to the person because they left you. But then these children, they likely don't want you talking to their children, and the children will likely feel indifferent based on why they left. Being that he left and stole all her things, took all this stuff from her, it's a risk you're taking, even as a single mother. And so I wrote this book called Before You Marry That Single Father, and I should have actually written two or intertwined them with information for both, because apparently single mothers are going through it out here too. Wow. What do you think about him taking the things he's bought her? So I always say that you call that person an Indian giver. Mm-hmm. I jokingly say this, okay? Mm-hmm. I always say if you cheat on me, I'm taking everything I ever gave you, even the money I gave you, mm-hmm. and I'm spending this shit. Mm-hmm. And if she called me an Indian giver, I'm gonna tell her I ain't never gave her Indian shit. Wow. But that's a joke if she cheats on you. I don't believe in taking gifts back. I believe, number one, if you're doing that, you're too immature for relationships, and you shouldn't be buying them if you're only gonna want them back. Right. But he's shown immaturity on all levels. Kids disrespecting her. He's left now taking the gifts back, left her with responsibilities, taking the children that obviously they were rude to her, but had she built a relationship with them, now she's lost them too. What's your thoughts? I mean, you know how men are saying, I ain't marrying no single mothers. Mm-hmm. I'm tired of it. Look at all we're risking. Look at what we're going through. I mean, based on what she's saying, I'm sure there's other mothers out there with stories. Can you not see how women would be reluctant to marry or be with a single father as well? Because they have issues as well, right? They're a red flag as well, right? Talk to them and we're going to end this video out.
All right. So first of all, with the first question you had asked about taking back things, I don't say, what you going to do with them? Once you take the things back, what are you going to do with them? Right. Now, I'm like, okay, if they got engaged and, he wanted his ring back, that's a totally different. Give the man his ring back, because he's probably still making payments on it.
Could have been his grandmother's. Give it back.
Yeah, yep. Could have been inherited. But as far as the other things, what you going to do with them? I know you're not going to give them to someone else. What's the point? So as far as him leaving things, I'm like, I think he was being petty. Really petty. And we see now, it's not just the women. Because to leave her with the chickens and the dogs, and come on now, you know how much responsibility that is. And all she wanted at the end of the day was you to tell your children to respect her. Just show her some respect.
They say all these things. A single mother can't make you her number one priority because she already has a child. A single mother should be stayed away from because she's a red flag. She already couldn't manage the relationship with the person she had a child with. Red flag, right? These things are still true for a man, okay? He didn't manage the relationship with the woman he had a child with, even though they had a child and everything was resting on this relationship, the child, right? He still has money outgoing because neither can you be his number one responsibility when he has a child. Okay, that child is first and foremost, as his responsibility is to that child and their well-being, absolutely. Okay, this means he resources, protects that child. This means it's not coming to you. So when we say, well, a man with a child is a red flag, a woman with a child is a red flag, they're both red flags. Not that they're bad, but they're both red flags, which means you should look into it and ask more questions. If someone marries you and you have children already, they marry and you have children as man or woman, make sure that your children respect them. Make sure they're not going through all these added things, because that only is going to make people want to stay away from it even more. Okay, do your part. If someone can see the value in you, even though you already have a child, please see the value in them enough to have your children respect them and lay down boundaries and an understanding so both parties can go in this relationship without risking all that pain and loss. Keep this in mind, family. Be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. No candle loses its flame from lighting another. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos, it's in that chaos that you have found yourself. Peace, family.
Peace.
My bad. Jamie normally finishes it.